the first card you have, your past, is the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so I'm getting a few different things here. It's quite interesting. It's going to be a little bit mixed up, so just bear with me if you don't understand. I'm going to try and explain this. I think you are definitely growing. There's a lot of growth, obviously, in this card. So you're definitely growing as a person. I think you are changing quite a lot. I think you still are. I think you're really feeling these changes that are happening to you, inside and out. A lot of changes happening on the inside. I'm getting separation here as well, along with these changes. So I think there are a lot of people who you used to have around you and you didn't really think about it. You just had them around you. That was the way it was. And now I think with these changes that are happening, you're thinking, or you are, and you still are, you're thinking a lot more carefully about, who you are, what your beliefs are, whether they align with other people, things like that. And I'm getting this feeling as well about it's like you're feeling a little bit out of place. I think, I'm listening to conversations, and maybe you're thinking, oh, I don't really get this. I don't understand this. It's like, what are they talking about? This is really trivial. Why do people even care about this? Why are they talking about this? That's the kind of thing I'm getting. And so there's this separation between you and these people. You just felt the separation. And there's isolation as well. So maybe you're isolating yourself a bit, which makes sense. If you are isolated, I know that can seem a little bit extreme to a lot of people, but I think sometimes we need to go to those extremes to kind of sort everything out in our heads. We're not ready to go around talking to everyone and putting more information in. We need to kind of sort the information out that's already in there, if that makes sense. And I think that's what you're doing at this time. And I think, when you come back, you are going to come back and talk to people again. That's fine. You'll be wiser. You'll be further along in this kind of process when you do come back. I'm also looking at this man, and he's planted this seed, he's watched this tree grow, and now he has these amazing coins that have grown on this tree, and they're right next to him, and he's looking at them. And obviously coins, they represent stability, so you're growing that kind of inner stability, and you're kind of gradually getting to this place where you're not really bothered whether you're with people or not. You don't really care. You don't care whether you're different. You're getting that inner wisdom and that inner kind of stability. And I think you already do have some of that. You do have this, well, I don't care what people think about me. You do have that a bit, but not quite. You still do care on some level. So you're going to kind of, it's not arrogant. It's not like, I don't care what they think about me. It's just an inner kind of strength that you have, that it doesn't matter whether, you align with what the world's doing or what this is doing. You just won't care anymore. And I'm also seeing you growing on the outside as well. You're gradually becoming more successful at something you're building up. So it's really, really beautiful, actually, because what I'm seeing is you're growing on the inside and you're growing in your success on the outside. And what's going to happen is, I think the universe is doing this on purpose so that the both things marry at the same time. So when you're ready to accept this total success, when that reaches its peak, that's when your inner wisdom is going to be at its peak as well. So they're going to meet together. So it's absolutely beautiful. This is a very special thing, and I don't see that very often. And this is something that's going to happen to you. You might not even realize it until it happens, because it's very, very gradual. And when you get these two things that meet each other, you'll be like, oh, wow, this just feels like I'm at my peak everywhere on all levels. So it's really, really, really beautiful. I'm so happy to see this for you. I really am. I don't see this very often at all. It's like perfect timing. Everything's going to be coming together at the right time. It's like a marriage. Very, very beautiful. Okay, so the next card you have, your past, is, yes, the Nine of Pentacles. So again, this woman, she's obviously by herself, and she has all this success around her, and it's inside her as well, because look at how content she is. She's very content. She's by herself as well, so there's this isolation as well. Some people are afraid of being by themselves. I'm not saying you are completely by yourself, but I'm not saying you're kind of like a hermit. You weren't talking to anyone at all, even though the hermit is here. I think you were talking to people, but it's more about mental and emotional and spiritual separation. You weren't talking a lot. You're kind of getting as much isolation as you could, but you weren't totally isolated. So it was like you had your brain isolated from a lot of things. It's like people were talking, but you're kind of like not really with them. That's what I'm getting. I hope that makes sense to you. Yeah, I'm also seeing some attraction here. I'm seeing attraction, more than one person being attracted to you. You do have a magnetic personality. I see that a lot in you, and I'm really feeling that. And it's kind of like, it's a little bit of a contradiction, though. I think for other signs it'd seem like a contradiction, but for you it's not. Okay, I'll try and explain that. I know it sounds a bit crazy. I think on the one side of your personality, you've got this kind of soft, vulnerable side. But then on the other side, you can be very sharp and harsh. You know, if you have a problem, if someone bothers you, if you're in a situation you're not happy with, there's that. And I think that contradiction attracts a lot of people too, because it's a sort of dynamic personality, and people like the kind of, oh, what's going to happen next? There's a lot of twists and turns here. That's what I'm getting. So, you know, there were people who are trying to get around you and talk to you. I'm seeing a lot of messages. I'm seeing DMs, things like that. I am seeing that. And I'm seeing, you know, phone messages, texts, all of that kind of thing, all kinds of messages. And you're really taking a break from that. You weren't kind of like, oh, I better message this person. I better get back to this. But you're kind of like, oh, let's just leave it for a while. I'm not ready to talk to anyone. So all these people were trying to get close to you, and you were just kind of separating yourself from them in that way as well. So yeah, the other thing I'm seeing here is there is a decision, because I'm just looking at these trees on the horizon, and they can be about, you know, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge. So, you know, a decision. So I think on the surface, from the outside, I think you were struggling with this decision, actually, because you looked happy, you looked like this woman on the outside, everything was fine, I'm very content and all of that. But on the inside, you're also grappling with this decision. I think this is about someone who wanted to help you, or someone who you wanted to work with. It was something like that. It feels very, very strange to me. It doesn't feel right to me, and I don't think it felt right to you. I don't think this was logical. I think this was an instinctual decision, because I'm getting an instinctual feeling, or an instinctive feeling that it's not right. So I think that's what happened. I think you decided to stay away from this person in the end because of your instincts. But you did have to kind of go backwards and forwards in your mind a bit. You did have a lot to kind of grapple with before you decided, but it was your instincts that help you to decide this in the end. That's what I'm getting. I think as you go through this process and you grow, you become a lot wiser internally. I think your instincts are going to be a lot sharper, so you'll be able to make these decisions really quickly. You're going to trust your instincts a lot more than you have been doing. You won't be agonizing. It'll be like, okay, I know this isn't the person I want around me. No. And this person is, yes, no. So you'll know that a lot faster, because that's what this inner wisdom is going to bring you. That's what I'm seeing. I hope that makes sense to you. So the last card you have, your past, is Temperance. Yeah, I think this might be another reason why I'm seeing this isolation. There are a lot of different mixed things here I'm getting all over this reading. First of all, I'm just looking at these 3 cards in your past, and they all have one person in them. So again, I'm seeing isolation. I think in this card, what I'm seeing is there's healing. There's healing from an old situation. You're getting through that as well. You're getting through that. And I think the isolation's helping you a bit with that as well, because you're kind of thinking, well, why did I put up with this? What won't I put up with in the future? So you're kind of going through that as well. A lot of people are afraid to be in their thoughts, alone in their thoughts, and you're not. So I think that's really, really good. That's a really good thing. You know, think about today's society where, you know, everyone's constantly on their phone. I mean, I'm the same. Everything's on my phone. I'm not against people being on their phone. But I think I think it's really important for people to take time out of absolutely everything sometimes. We have so much information going into our heads that we don't know who we are. We don't know what's in our heads. We don't know what we think. We don't know what our ideas are. We don't know what our beliefs are. So you've just had this time where you've been by yourself, you've turned things off, that's what I'm seeing, and you're just letting your own thoughts and your own wisdom develop. So it's really good. I'm really glad I'm seeing that with you. I hope you keep on doing that. I want to encourage you to keep on doing that if that resonates with you. So yeah, I love this. This is fantastic. I love seeing this for you. You're really, really growing. And look at this card. This can be a little bit like rising out of the ashes as well, rising up into the sky. And I think that's what this process is giving you as well. It's really beautiful. I love this so much. Okay, so the first card you have your presence, the Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, there's a distance here, and I think there's a big distance between you and some of your family members. Okay, I'm seeing one because there's a family on this card, obviously. So there's one family group. I think you're really close to that group. And then there's another kind of group. They're not grouped as in two groups that only talk to each other, but a group as far as your mind is concerned. So there's a lot of people who you're close to. And then there are some people outside of that you're not close to. Now, if you look at this card, obviously, again, there's a family here, but they're not interacting properly. There are even pets on this card. So the whole family's there, but no one's really talking properly. This is what I'm seeing. As your success gradually grows, and it's going to happen slowly and gradually, as that happens, I think you're going to have to keep these people who you're close to even closer to you so that they support you. And you're going to have to keep the others at even more of a distance than you already do. That's what I'm seeing. And I am seeing, yes, family. So, okay, I'll just tell you what I'm seeing. I don't want to stress you, but I have to tell you this. There might actually be some opportunists around. They might be family. Sorry about that noise. Yes, go away. Thank you. Go away. Okay, so yeah. Okay, let's get back to this. Yeah, so opportunists, that's what I'm seeing. So yeah, there might be some people in your family who let money, might be friends as well, but I'm seeing family. They might let money come between you and them in some way, you know, or they might see money and success and all of that before they see you. So just be very careful around that. And that's as you become more successful. But because you're gradually easing into this, I think you're going to kind of, it's not going to be a big shock. You're going to kind of see this gradually. And you know, look at how these coins are in between us and this family. So that's how I'm seeing that. I'm just showing you how I'm seeing that. So, you know, it's like money is coming between you and certain people. And yeah, you'll know who to trust. You'll know who not to trust. That's going to happen gradually as well, as I was saying. But that's a reminder of that, I think, in this card. The other thing is, I think you might have actually been, this is something else I'm seeing, you might have been linked to someone financially at one time. And I think you've come out of that as well. And you're growing on your own. You're growing your independence as well. So you're growing in all these different ways. And I think it can be really scary, and it has been a little bit scary for you to grow out of that as well. You've had to face some really difficult things. I'm getting this feeling of strength. It's like, I love being on my own. I love being strong on my own. I love making decisions on my own. It feels like you've really broken free from someone. And it was a difficult break. It wasn't a clean break, but you've done that. You've come out of that. You're free and you're very strong by yourself. And I think that's been a big catalyst for this big change as well. And I think because you had this financial link with this person and it wasn't a positive one, I think it was a really good thing, actually. This is perfect timing as well, that you got away from this person and now you're having the success after you've gotten away from them. So that's really, really good timing as well, because you'll have this success, it's growing, you'll be able to handle your money, you'll be able to handle everything on your own and make the decisions on your own. So that's really, really good to see. I love this. Okay, so the next card you have your presence, the Hermit. So yes, being by yourself again, as I'm seeing everywhere else in this reading. This is just summing everything up so far. And being able to see clearly as well. That's what I'm getting in this card, because this hermit's in the dark and he's on top of a mountain, but he has this lamp and it's helping him to see. The thing here, the crucial thing here is it's not someone else's lamp, it's his lamp. That's really important. So you're making these decisions by yourself. I think for a long time you're being led by someone else's lamp. I don't know whether you even realized that at the time, but you can see that now. Everything's very, very clear to you now. The other thing is, sometimes I see this card as a little bit like the Fool card, only he's a bit older and wiser. So it's like, because the Fool's up on a mountain, he's kind of going along by himself. No, he's not listening to anyone else. He knows himself, he knows his own path, but he's a little bit wiser, or more than a little bit. So, it's like when you're going to kind of come back and you're going to come out again, you're going to relaunch yourself, you have this kind of inner wisdom and you have this kind of success that's coming, it's starting, and you're ready. It's like you'll have the enthusiasm of the Fool, but you'll also have the wisdom of the Hermit at the same time. That's a really powerful combination, because it's like, I've got a lot of wisdom, I know what I'm doing, I'm very strong, I'm very wise, but I'm also quite, I can take risks. I don't mind taking risks. So that's very, very powerful. So that's what that's showing me, that's going to be really crucial to your success. And it's slow success. Obviously, again, the Hermit is older. He's walking along slowly. So it's not going to be like overnight success. I'm seeing that again. Okay, I'm also getting a little bit of fear here as well. Someone might be trying to get at you in some way. I'm getting a mixture of envy, a bit of ignorance as well. It's like they don't understand you properly. They don't know what you're about, really. So if you know who this is, if someone's kind of trying to say shady things to you, this is another example of separating the people you want to keep close and the ones who you want to keep far away. It's also about making sure you're on higher ground, on a higher level. Keep your head held high. Be higher than that. Take the high ground. That's what this can be about as well, because this Hermit's obviously up on higher ground. So that's what I'm seeing there as well. I think it's all a matter of just staying alert until you reach this point of full awareness, full wisdom, and then you'll be able to make these decisions a lot quicker. I'm seeing that again here as well. So, okay, so the last card you have here present is the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so what's coming into my head immediately is it's a message to nurture yourself. Take care of yourself. Watch over what you have. Definitely watch over your money. Organize it properly. Take care of that. Nurture that. You're going to come into this success very slowly. It's not happening now, but I think this is more about getting into practice of managing your money a lot better than you have been, so that it becomes a habit, and so that by the time you have this success, you're in the middle of this, you're not having to quickly learn all this and work all this out. So start getting into good habits now. Manage your money, sort it out really well. Think about investing, think about all that kind of thing that you might not have thought about. Really get that all sorted out and organized now. Nurture what you have, take care of what you have, so that when you have more, you'll be able to nurture that as well. That's what I'm seeing. I want it to become second nature for you. That's what I'm seeing in that card, so you don't even have to think. The other thing is, if you're single, and I think there are a lot of single people here because I'm seeing all this isolation everywhere, I think there is new love coming to you. I think this is someone completely new that you've never seen before. I think it's going to be someone who you're going to meet through some kind of work thing or business thing. It's something like that. This is going to be someone on your level. Okay, so I know that sounds quite horrible. I'm not being snooty. I'm not saying, oh, you have to have someone who's on your financial level. I'm not saying that at all, or your class level. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a mindset and a feeling, and an outlook. It's like someone's going to have the same outlook as you. So they might not be doing the job they want to do. They might be building up to that. They might be, quite they might be starting again. They might not be where you are, but it's about their mindset. So that's going to be really good for you. You're going to be thinking in a similar way. And, you know, I think that's going to be really good as well. And I think they're going to be very happy to help you on a practical level as well. They're quite practical. I think it might take you some time to adjust to this, because this is a very helpful person, and I keep on getting this, it's this really strong feeling of, I'm strong on my own, I want to be on my own, I can do this by myself, all of that. So I think it's going to take some time for you to adjust to that, because this person wants to help you, and it's just honest help. They don't want anything from you. That's what I'm getting. So yeah, I think that is going to take some time for you to adjust to that. You have had a little bit of drama in your past in terms of relationships, so that might be a hangover of that as well. But this is a totally different person. It's a completely new person. So yeah, so just remember that. I mean, if you are with this new person, just you know, if these things do come up and you have these doubts and you have these warnings, you're like, oh no, I don't want them to be like the other. I don't think they are like that. So give them the benefit of the doubt to start with, of course, anyway. Just see how it goes. You know, don't automatically put your back up, you know, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'll go on to the next card. So the first card you have for your future is Judgment. So yeah, so again, if any cards about rising up, you know, going through big changes in your life, this is the one. This is the big card. This is about huge change. I'm coming out of my box. I'm growing. I'm coming into who I really am. So yeah, and also there's a family on this card. Yeah, if you look at this family, I'm just looking at this. There's a family on the front, and there's a mirror image of them on the other side. So yeah, this might sound a bit harsh, but bear with me. I think you're going to have to hold certain people up to a mirror and kind of examine them and see whether they're the right people to have around you or not. That's what I'm seeing. So I think you're going to be doing a lot of that.